And again, most people thinking about biology and everything too is the whole wet lab access problem and alternative solutions. So this is one of the biggest challenges that students are facing right now, and most don't have access to research facilities, expensive equipment, or specialized reagents. There's a lot of different safety regulations that can limit what can be done in schools or at home, especially when it comes to working with different pathogens, chemicals, or like regulated human samples as well. And again, you don't need access to a wet lab in order to do pseudo wet lab research or to do biology research. Just to go over some of the main restrictions right now, if your student is interested in working in kind of a wet lab scenario. As of now, middle school students are not permitted to work at a bench. So to even have the opportunity, they would have to wait normally until they're around 16 years old. They're limited to biosafety level 1 pathogens. So no Ebola, no scary pathogens or anything like that. There's a lot of regulations around what kind of bugs you can work with if you're interested in bacteria or viruses. And then if you have a high school student that wants to work in a lab, there's a lot of communication and regulation that has to go into actually getting them into the lab. So you'll have to have written permission, sometimes contracts and agreements with the principal investigator of the lab, the university or an industry lab, as well as parent or legal guardian permission. And then there'll have to be some form of official registration or contract that kind of outlines what that student is doing. So that's the restrictions that are in place right now and kind of what we have to work with. And again, some students may feel that without a lab, they're at a disadvantage, especially when they see kind of advanced projects at large competitions, but that's not the case. There's plenty of ways that we can work around this. And what judges really care about, also future employers and colleges, is again, the experimental design, controls and variables, and then data analysis and scientific reasoning. So some ways that you can kind of get around these barriers with working at a wet lab is using safe biological models. So a lot of students can use yeast as a biological model, plants, and then also simulations on the computer.